Okay, so good evening, everybody, and welcome to TFC Live. This is Season 2, Episode 29. Clearly, it's July's post-raid roundup and FM update. Okay, well, first off, I'll just say good evening to Robin. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, fine. And first and foremost, thanks for covering for Saturday. I think people actually quite enjoyed listening to your voice as opposed to mine all the time. So, yeah,
No, it's fun.
Yeah, watch the show back. It's good. It's a. How did you find the experience?
No, it was cool. Yeah, no, it was really good. We had a full panel and lots of really good points and some discussion points. So yeah, I was quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that's setting a trend, I think. So what I might do is actually get Brian to maybe do next Saturdays and see how that goes. So we'll have a bit of science and that sort of stuff. So clearly not too much, but yeah, I think we'll sort of like pass it a little around a bit. So it'll just give people a bit more of an insight into running the shows as well as obviously taking part. So yeah, it should be good fun. He's up for it, I think. So, yeah, so we're quite light on tonight's any show. George is still up country. Ren's away on a 2-week holiday and that sort of stuff. Andrew's working tonight. We won't mention Liam. Okay, so you got the two reliable ones anyway. So Robin's here, obviously, and myself. No, people are busy. It's real time, and this is their free time. So I'm not going to make any additional comments than that. But what I will do is get straight on with the slides because we've got quite a few tonight. Including actually a couple of screen shares that we're going to utilize from the Kickstarter forums as well. So hopefully you can see that. Should be up for everybody. Right, so splash screen says obviously post-raid roundup and the FM update. So, oh hey, Stu's in. Talk of the very devil. Good evening, buddy.
Yeah, my bad, man. I didn't even know what day it was. So, yeah.
That sums you up, mate.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic week. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, wait, what day is it again? Ah, right, okay, time for a show.
Happy birthday for Saturday, mate.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, and thanks for standing Robin up, okay, mate, on your birthday.
Well, if the show had been called A God King Bear's Birthday Celebration, then I would have turned up, but it wasn't. It was called Rue's Mid-Grade something. So I was like, bollocks, I won't go.
Yeah, which is funny because obviously had it been called your birthday, it would have been nothing about BP, but there we go.
Exactly, that's what we need. We need a show just not about BP for once.
Radio. Okay. Do you know what? I logged on the game just a second ago and I've got nothing to do. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to hit apart from routine stuff. I'm full to the max. So I was like that. Okay, I'll just log off again. That was a first for a long time. So anyway,
so don't moan about it because
no,
we should have 12 TFCs tomorrow.
It's good, yeah.
I was going to say, if you post your chords, we can fix that real quick.
Oh, there's somebody already in chat that's already had a little sort of dig it. I'm going to go hit TSM's base whilst he's online talking about the show. So there we go. Right. Anyway, slide pack content for tonight. There you go. What I haven't done is obviously just replicated obviously the state of the game. If you haven't seen it on the forums, it's there, and we'll basically go through it and we'll have a little bit of a chat about it and that sort of stuff and see what you think. There are a few key issues in there and some real good things as far as I'm concerned, and some things that are quite topical. So moving on. Right, post-raid roundup. Okay. First things first, thanks everybody for taking part in a quick 24-hour poll that I quickly posted just because I'm going to do this most raids now. I think I did it on the last one, I've done it on this one here. I just want to get a flavor. Okay, statistics you can manipulate in any way you see shape or fit to answer your own questions. So that's not what I'm doing. What I'm basically doing is just doing a carte blanche. It's up for exactly 24 hours or thereabouts. Okay. People get used to it, but thank you very much. Look, 1,700 people, individuals, okay, because I didn't let you put down bacon and all that sort of stuff this time. It was just a case of slam it 1 to 10, sorry. How did you think it was? Okay, so it's interesting. Okay, I mean, 700 people, so they're nearly 1/3 of the personnel put a number 1 against it. Okay, we have captured some of the detail, and Robin's going to go through some of that in a moment. Okay, all right then, but that sends a message. It does send a message. So whether that was people weren't ready, they didn't like the targets, they were boycotting because obviously some people got given some fleets and some people didn't, that sort of stuff. But the point is, that is a huge percentage. But what is interesting, I think, to be honest, and if you see the score of people that's like, sort of halfway to it's okay, and to be honest, I probably should have scored it 0 to 10 because then I could have actually put the mean score of 5 in the middle. Because the score of 5 actually is the third highest there, and the next one above that is 8. So it's quite interesting to see the way the numbers have played out. But clearly, number 1, I'm not happy with the game at the moment, or particularly this raid format anyway, for whatever reason.
I'm gonna go out on a whim here and presume that that's probably due to just not being ready in time, because it was very difficult for me to get ready as well.
I think it's
Like,
for a lot of people, mate.
Yep.
I'm a fairly big
And-
coiner in that. So I had difficulty getting ready. In fact, I wasn't ready.
Put
But
it
I
this
mean, I
way,
did my raid.
yeah. I mean, I see a lot of. I mean, you know, I scanned through that number ones group, and there's a lot of actually quite high level players in there. Now, that's one of two things to me. They either couldn't do, you know, that TLC that got you the Phoenix early, or they couldn't get the last round done of it, particularly, you know, that sort of stuff. Okay, or they didn't have time to get it, or they just were going down a different avenue and hoping the Phoenixes were going to work and that sort of stuff, which they clearly didn't. So if you want to go and smash out, obviously, or you didn't want to coin any more holes, because, you know, what was working really, really well was 3 skulled Phoenixes that were fitted out fully. And you could do it, you know. 4 was a godsend, you know, but 3 was doable at a reasonable price sort of stuff, you know. But ultimately, the targets took a long time as well to hit, didn't they? Some of them, again.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go on, sorry.
No, I think you raise a valid point. It's not that people weren't ready because they weren't trying. I mean, we always run into players where you're like, well, what have you been building for the last, you know, month? And it's been, oh, I've been building my baser, or I've been building my, you know, defender fleet, or, you know, that kind. That wasn't the issue this time. It was trying to get the Phoenixes out. Now, Kix did drop the Talon build time, but it was definitely a struggle for me, and I finally became a filthy coiner again and coined like $8 worth, I think it was, on one of my last Phoenixes, just because I wanted 4. But you know what? 2 of them were naked. I had no armor on 2 of them, but I needed that extra firepower to be able to kill those little piranha drone thingies. So yeah, I think a good point is that it's not unwillingness, it's unable, and there's a big difference between the two.
Well, actually saying that, I should probably clear up that it was entirely my fault that I wasn't ready for the raid.
Okay.
Like, I did originally start building Phoenixes, and then I heard about Skyfires and went, oh my god, Skyfire OP, and recycled my Phoenixes. So that's why I wasn't ready. But yeah, I did, like, saying what Rue just said, she was saying about players building the wrong things. There was actually one person I knew of that did that as well. You know,
Really?
Building their base guard up so that their raid fleet. And I did have a go at him about it. I won't mention names.
Wow.
Yeah, but for the most part, it was difficult. Like, even if I had started Phoenixes at the start, the build time was a bit over the top.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, I know they changed the build times on the weapons and specials and all that, but at the start it was over the top, so it would have been difficult to get it ready.
I'll just say quickly, this show might actually run on 10 minutes. Okay, just bear that in mind, guys, that are in the chat. They don't expect it to be exactly 1 hour long. It probably won't be. We have got a few slides, and I don't want to just skip over some points, because some points are actually key. And we all know there's a new community manager and that sort of stuff. And I know he'll be watching this first show and taking away some key points. He's already looking on the TFC page. He's already looking in forums and gathering data and that sort of stuff, obviously for his new role. So, but we'll come to that in a minute. So as far as I'm concerned, what is key? I mean, like I said, you can manipulate stats as you see fit, but of those 1,752 people that actually pressed one of those buttons there for me, okay, or for us as the TFC, you know, admins, the point is, almost half, if you were taking it from 5 and above, almost half had a half decent raid, which is why I said halfway through this thing, it's almost like a yin yang in the game. Half the community are loving it and half the community are hating it. Now, some of those points Rue's captured, and so I'll go on and I'll hand the next bits over to Rue.
Okay, so this is our normal post-raid roundup that we do after every raid, but I've added a couple things in here, and specifically because this is the first of this cycle. Brand new targets, new ships, new format, new driving. And so this is one of those things where everybody kind of needs to understand that it takes time to crack them. We're not going to be able to jump straight out in there and instantly be able to do them for, you know, 0 coin, that type of stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind with your frustration. It was very frustrating to see players hit a single target and then give up. And there were a couple in my sector that basically jumped on, tried the one target, and then said, that's it, bugger, I'm done. if you fail, go out there and take a look at the pages, see what everybody is doing, look for the videos, and a big kudos to everybody that did post videos on the page. It's always appreciated. Andrew gets them out on the page as soon as he can. But take the time. If you fail straight out, wait, take a look at the videos that are out there, let it go for a day, and then maybe come back and then see if there have been any changes. So, for example, Kicks dropped I think it was the 69 this time that they dropped the damage on. So there were some adjustments that were made throughout the raid. So don't get disheartened the first time that you hit a target. And then obviously, if you can, ask others to watch them in their targets. I had a show and tell session there for a little while where there were a couple of people that were trying to do some targets, and it's like, hey, watch this and see how I do it. And, so that also helps some people out as well.
Super. Right,
Okay.
let's move on. Next
page. Again, if you can't do the level that you normally do, then drop down a level. If you were used to hitting the 100s and not having any issues, then drop down to the I think it's the A set or tier 6 now. Drop down, get your groove on, for want of a better term, and then as you get a little bit used to the targets and how they work, then try moving back up. The drones were pretty similar in all of them, and sometimes you just need to take that step back a bit for a little while, try it on a lower level, and then be able to move it up. And then, just a reminder, we've got two more of this cycle, and there's obviously going to be a lot more prizes between now and the next one. So we still have another 2 months of this. And so onto the Kickside side of the house, there were some differences this time. The targets themselves, it was a little frustrating. Yes, you could use Apollos, and yes, you could use Phoenixes, and yes, you could use Skyfires, but there was a marked difference with this raid in the last raid with the variety of fleets that you were able to do. People were able to, on the siege targets, I mean, we saw everything from chicken feet all the way through to sea wolves. And so there were a lot of people that would use their main fleet, die, and in the past they were able to take like a different fleet out and maybe grind out some points on some of the lower targets. And we didn't see that this time. And so people were really struggling. They were struggling with the drones and the speed. Mark, you brought up the whole, if you had 3 skulled Phoenixes, then, you were gold. There were a lot of people that did not have 3 skulled Phoenixes. There were people that might have had them all up to like 40%. And so they were having a real hard time hitting some of the drones and actually killing the drones. And so there were some issues there. And then people were willing to grind, but a lot were frustrated at not being able to at least get a single target completed. Now, some of that is due to new raid, new cycle, having to relearn how to drive missile fleets. Kicks did give some great Apollo deals, and there were a lot of people that took some of those Apollo deals. But, again, people who have never driven them before, you don't just pick up your Apollo, go straight out on the highway and be able to drive like you're at Talladega. It's going to take a little while to get used to that. So those were some of the negatives on the targets. On the spawn rates, I did not see or hear any issues from anybody trying to find targets. There was no, has anybody seen an XYZ? Can't find them. I did. The only issue that I saw was there was a burp at one point for about 15 minutes where the 100s were not respawning.
They disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, I was working with a couple of people over in a quiet sector, and I sat there for about 7 hours on Saturday morning and knocked out my points and knocked out some prep for some other folks that have just returned to the game, and did not have a single issue with waiting on targets except for that one period. So great job on that kick side. There was a really good plethora of targets. I would say that maybe make them a wee bit bigger. We talked about this on Sunday. It was like my map was filled with sand fleas.
The icons, yeah.
When I first logged on, I was like, where's the targets? And why are there all of these campaigns out? So, maybe not quite as big as the siege targets, but maybe a wee bit bigger than what we have.
Yeah. No lag, though. So,
Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Targets and fleets themselves. I had a blast driving my Phoenixes. I know there were some people out there that were doing very well with the Skyfires and were really enjoying them. There were people that were getting creative. They were using a single Skyfire to go in and nail the drones, and then they were bringing in their Phoenixes. and so that was pretty good. There was some added explosive damage that was a little bit unexpected. I call them the flaming cheese balls. If you were in, if you were in the wrong spot, and sometimes it's hard, is that chasing me, or is that coming towards me, or is that going to fall 9 miles away? So yeah, I got nailed a couple of times, and boy, when you got hit by one of them flaming cheese boys, you knew all about it.
Well, it was, yeah, I mean, it was like a mortar shell, but obviously it's not explosive damage, though, is it?
I think there was, Brian, I think, was talking about maybe there was explosive damage.
There shouldn't be, unless someone's data mined it, because there shouldn't be any explosive damage at all in this target. It should be a flaming pool of corrosive damage. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, we can maybe catch up with him on that when he gets back on later, because we talked about that on Saturday. Whatever it is, it hurt. I can tell you that.
Oh, it did. Yeah, I made that big mistake. I autoed one from my mobile phone. It just so happened to drive through a big cheese ball at half my fleet in a nanosecond. I was like, that was interesting.
But the difference between this time and last time, although I've got a thumbs down on it, if you remember last time, like if you drove into a rocket, you were gone. You were going home with your tail between your legs, and you had to repair the whole fleet. This time it didn't seem to be as punitive for me. Even though 2 of my Phoenixes were naked, even if I got nailed by one of the cheese balls, yeah, I'd lose and I'd have like maybe, a quarter of health left. It wasn't like it totally wiped my fleet out. So I was okay with that. I did, though, however, hear some people on some of the lower targets where if they were getting, having issues, and maybe it's due to the higher health points on the Phoenix. But if you were able to stay away from the turrets and not be silly and drive into places where you shouldn't be, I did not feel that the damage was as punitive as it was last time.
Yeah, I suppose anything with that is, yes, we could sail through the cheese balls, and yes, we definitely, even I have to say that the obviously the spitting, what's the turret there that kicks out the big if you get too close, there's 4 in each corner. This like the thrower.
Yeah.
No, it's not
scatter
gun thing.
Yeah.
My God, that thing causes some damage, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You get
I want one of them flaming, like the flaming glacier ones. It's like the opposite to the glacier,
nice, aren't they? Yeah, they actually work as well. So
yeah,
that's cool, excellent. Right, okay.
On the prizes, reduced amount for the Phoenix. Well done, Kicks. Liked that. And they didn't do it for a short period of time, which was what we had issues with last time.
Thank the Lord.
Yes. So last time there were some people that missed out just because they live on the other side of the pond.
And those that those that claimed it early also got the 5 million upgrade back as well.
Yes.
So that was there was no reason why anybody can complain about that.
Yeah. So good job on that. They also upped the redemption amount on the charged armors, so I was happy to see that. A little bit of a negative. You could claim the Skyfire flag gut spills, but you couldn't claim the regular Skyfire. So there were some people that were hoping to see that this raid, and it may have just been a space issue with the tree.
I think they want us to do another TLC for next month.
And that may be, that may be the case. So you were able to get the flag, which was probably a lot easier to grind out the 40 million points for that for a lot of people than it was to go through that TLC. And then tokens. Good job, Kicks, on adding the 2-day tokens. That really helped me out a lot, and I know it helped a lot of other people out. And so, please continue this. It's nice to have those extra couple of days worth of tokens in there, and them being 2-day tokens. But as long as we're not jacking up the price of the other ones nor shorting the other ones. So, what I'm saying here is don't get rid of 2 single-day tokens and put a 2-day in. If you could do this again and allow a couple of 2-day tokens in there, I think that was a good idea.
Yeah, I must admit, I mean, the 2-day token was nice. Wasn't cheap, but it was an offer there for somebody if you had the time to go and get it. So, it was, these things are all relative. So a lot of people went, oh my God, look at the price of that one. Well, it's not a must have. It's if you're able to get it and you want to build stuff, then go get it. But if you can't get it, then just ignore it. It's like saying, look at that, I've just bought a new X and next door's a Ferrari. Well, I can't afford the Ferrari, but you still got wheels. Yeah, you can still get to work on time. You just can't get there in nanoseconds compared to the person who just bought a Ferrari. So, it's all relative. You've got to cater for all people basically in this game, and it's not just for the top end. And I really do think, and that's half the complaints of why there's so many people scoring at 1 is those that just had, and not even the free Apollos, a standard Apollo, and didn't manage to get any of the specials on there, their Apollos didn't stand up as well as obviously the free ones that were given out. So
yeah. And with respects to the tokens and with respects to the price, and everybody was saying, oh, it's $8 million, and it's like, okay, so if you could do a S target for 2 coin and that gave you, what was it, 4 million points or
yeah,
something like that.
Do the math.
Okay, so two S targets for 4 coins works out to be like 40 cents. And so 2 days times, what is it, 480 a day?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was worth it. So it's like, oh, I can get 6 days worth of tokens for like $1 versus $30 worth of actual build time. So it's up to you whether you choose to purchase them at that price or not. I did like them. With respects to the Apollo, they also had Zealous tokens. I picked up some extras of those to finish off a Zealous fleet that I'm working on in between things. And then they did have the regular Apollo tokens as well.
I think the hint was there for people to look at those yet again, the generalist fleet and that sort of stuff. There was a good hint there, and we'll talk about FM prizes, new ones coming up in a minute. But those tokens were in there for a reason, and Ren mentioned that last month as well. They don't put specific tokens in there for no reason whatsoever. It's a hint to those that can't go down the latest and greatest fleets that are going for that mid-level fleet and maybe going for a tier down. There's a reason those are there, and now it's blatantly obvious now with the FM update. But we'll come to that in a second. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so moving on. Oh, Frosty makes me cranky, and it made a lot of other people cranky as well. It was not as bad as it was last time, but holy smokes, Kicks, can we please stop the exploding targets? This time, it was not like every target. It was no rhyme or reason. I would have one that would explode at I think one of our, and I only actually had 2, which was really annoying for me. I can't imagine there were people out there that were complaining about it happening multiple times and not just on the S targets. But it was like not at a spawn hour. It wasn't like on the half hour, on the hour. It was very frustrating for the people that were using multiple fleets. They would go in and like start with the Skyfire or another fleet, take out the drones, and then come in with the second fleet to go ahead and take out the rest of the turrets. And then hockey smokes, you pull out and the damn thing exploded. So they really, I don't know what the solution to this is. Maybe the solution is allow them to be there for an hour, but because I could never figure out what caused it, and maybe it is some kind of glitch that, if the moon is full and the tide is high and it's Wednesday, then it's going to explode. But they really need to address this because it was very, very frustrating just as a regular player, not even when it came to prepping. And there's nothing worse than working all the way through to a target, popping out, and then the whole thing explodes on you. And it wasn't just on the high level targets as well. There were people that were experiencing the same thing. I saw it in my sector on a couple of the lower level targets as well, but tier 6 and even some of the lower ones. There was a lot of naughty words and holy smokes, my target just disappeared. The damn thing blew up. So please, Kix, if we can address this, it would be really, really good.
Yeah. So the one thing you haven't mentioned, I'm surprised about, is the retreat button.
Yeah, liked it. Happy with it.
Yeah, I thought it was nice to see it in. I didn't think they were going to keep it in there because on one of the previews it disappeared and that sort of stuff, but it was in there. So murking is back without a doubt. So those that have managed now to get the, get your flag up and running and that sort of stuff, you can offset that maybe next time to help some other people to get up to it. And I did see a couple of people out murking and that sort of stuff, prepping for people. And actually, I thought the rate was quite decent. I saw quite a few people doing it for 50 coins for 10 S targets, which I thought was actually quite reasonable payoff, to be honest. With a good crew, and I thought, that's not bad. I'm not saying that's a bona fide, that's what the rate should be, but I think people were actually confident this time to go, A, there's a retreat button, B, so I'm not wasting my time, I can use it my crew, and B, that the murking bit didn't take very long per target. You can actually, by the time that person, in fact, I think the prep took less time than actually the cleanup, so you could actually already have prepped the next one, or maybe prep for 2 people if they're in the same area. So
yep.
I do see that as going to be quite a good feature for the next raid anyway. So,
yep.
Yeah, good.
And,
anyway.
And there's one thing that I didn't put on here just before we jump to the next slide, and I can't remember who it was that posted it, and I apologize. But there was a very long post on the page with respects to quality assurance and stuff like that. And I really, there was a lot of negatives that were put towards it, but there were some really good, valid points in there with respects to how this was handled. It was Robert Smith, sorry, I just had to go look up the name. there wasn't a lot of the issues that we saw last time, and not just from the target perspective. We did not deal with the, oh my gosh, we need to change the hull like we went through with the mono. The Phoenix was set, as far as I know, and there's not been any changes to the Phoenix. We didn't run into issues where the skill hull was a little bit worse than the not so skilled hull type thing. And so, you know, kudos for the QA work that went on this time. You know, I'm hoping it was intentional and not by accident, but there was a lot of, I think there was a lot less issues, you know, this time around. If they could fix that exploding target, then I think that would really, you know, that would be the bee's knees, and that would make things really, really good.
Yep, agreed. Stu, anything? I know you've been pretty quiet there, mate. Anything you want to add from the raid, that sort of stuff?
No, not really. I mean, it didn't take me long to do the raid at all, so I was quite happy with that. But I only did it with 2 half-built Skyfires, so that was cool. So I have to give it, like, you know, a 9.
Well done, mate.
That's quite impressive. I could do it with basically nothing.
So do you manage to get the flag for next time, did you?
Yeah, be done in about.
You'll have a good raid then. Yeah, you'll have a good one.
I click the coin button or not, I'm not sure yet. I'm deciding.
But it'll be ready for next one, which would be nice. So that's you'll be the happy man when you'll be bringing press auto, and that'll be it. Sort of stuff.
Yeah, like the Skyfire is literally the well, apart from Tideseeker, the Skyfire is the best auto hull.
The best auto hull that's been and I don't know. We'll do kudos actually moment for obviously for GDR, because actually it's his baby. And I think he's built it bang on this time.
It's like the Terminator had sex with RoboCop and the Predator at the same time. And
it's a great product, isn't it?
Yeah, the Skyfire was born, and it's like, yay, overpowered. I love it.
Yeah, welcome back to a decent auto hull, and it's been a long time coming.
It literally made me recycle my Phoenixes. I literally saw it and recycled them. That's how good I like it. You know, I was like, okay, I'm not driving. I'm buying this hull.
But for prepping, like I like for my alliance and that sort of stuff, and I know, you know, it helps a lot of people. I really like the Phoenix. You know, there's something about it that just works for me. I really enjoy it. You know, so it's covering. You know, just for a change. Then yes, there are 2 different types of fleets, and we have even mentioned obviously that the adjustment to the generalists. You know, using the obviously the. You know, the generalist method and that sort of stuff, and there's specials that are coming out for that as well to do the next tier down. But you know, there are options. No, don't go and get everything, but go and pick something that works for you. I think it's working really, really well this time. So hats off for that. Yeah, I understand that some people haven't, you know, got everything perfect, but stick with what you've got now. If that's the style of driving, if you're like Stu, you just want to go out and smash stuff and that sort of stuff and press auto, then you've got something. And if you're in a position where you want to,
for me, it depends. I should clarify. It depends on what it's doing. Like, it depends on what the chore's going to be next. For instance, the next chore for this will obviously be for mega ships, right? Because it's assault. Yeah,
which is irrelevant for most people.
And for me, I'm just like, well, I don't really want to be driving around to get mega ship parts. I'd rather just auto that. Same as base parts. I'd rather just auto base parts and uranium. I don't mind driving in the FM, so I could have built the monos. I didn't, but I could have, and I wouldn't have been that bothered. I would have drove quite happily in the FM.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the reason, mate. I built IBs because IBs auto dubs nicely, and that means I go and get all my uranium for nothing, and I can just do it on my mobile phone. I don't have to watch it. I just press go, do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it all depends on what you want. But I mean, lately, obviously, with the Ironclad and the Icebreaker being a bit of a letdown, the auto hull wasn't really there. But this one, it's hit the nail on the head, and I can actually choose to auto my chores. I mean, yeah, you're going to take more damage than the skill hull. That's to be expected. It's auto.
But the ratio is reasonable.
Yeah.
With the flag, it mate, I've seen the flag. It transforms the fleet.
Insane.
It is, mate. Right, good. Okay, so there we go. That's a review of obviously the raid and that sort of stuff. Thanks for all those, like I said, that joined in, and we've had obviously that wasn't the only but the poll that we've done, that sort of stuff. Obviously, we put up a bit of a sort of state of the game and that sort of stuff mid-time. But all those bits and bobs have been collated and that sort of stuff, and data will be filled up. And I appreciate the fact that people have been absolutely honest. If you think it's been a 1, you know, take out the couple of trolls and that sort of stuff. In general, though, most people actually clarified why they said that. And that data is being monitored, I can promise you. So thanks very much. Right, good. We'll draw a line under that then, and we'll move forward. So what have we got next then? Let's have a look then. So yeah, just so you're aware, if you didn't, okay then. So the next raid, this has come out of obviously by Doom, okay. It's going to be called the Lost Continent, okay. And the dates are the 10th of August to the 14th of August. So stick that in your diaries or whatever you want to do and that sort of stuff. So just bear that in mind, okay. So that's the next raid, okay. 10th to the 14th of August. Bear those dates in mind, okay? We'll look at something in a second. Right. Okay. July's for sake of mission. There's the bit of a spiel. Okay. So there's some new prizes. Okay. What's nice is there's only one in the tier 4. So straight away this week, those that hit the first time, they're up to date. You're going to get 2 days ship build token instantly. I think that's fantastic. And that's good. And the only thing that's actually in there to go and collect in tier 4 is also worthwhile having as well for those that have got generalists as well. And then there's 3 prizes obviously to go and collect obviously in the tier 5. Obviously, so this week there's no obviously the chance of getting 5 build tokens, but next week you've got a chance of getting them. So actually just think about that. That's the 18th obviously, so that gets released straight through. Basically you're going to have 3 rounds where you can actually get up to 5 tokens, and then obviously you're going to get potentially up to 5 tokens 3 times, so that's 15, and then you're going to get what? You're going to get 2, 4, 6, another 6 tokens on top of that sort of stuff. So 21 tokens is a potential, sort of stuff. So I don't think that's too bad. That's the complete hull, isn't it?
That will certainly put a dent in the flagships.
Yeah. So to me, that's a complete hull for basically just doing, hopefully, a chore that doesn't take too long to do the FM for most people. And if it is a chore, clearly, and you haven't got the fleets for it yet, there's obviously a nice little thing that's coming up as a TLC later in the week as well. So if it's already started, I haven't logged the game tonight. I haven't had a chance. But there we go. So there we go. There's lots of things happening. What's good is they've decreased the difficulty in the 82 and the 88, which they said, we all said actually was far too difficult and too hard for the level and the return that you're getting on them. So that's been squared away. And the actual targets will have some more buildings in them, so the paving can be looked at a little bit differently, because if you can target the buildings, and the splash might take out some of the other things as well. So I haven't had any feedback from that yet, but that'll be interesting. So that's tomorrow.
That's huge. Yeah, that's a huge deal. Because I know there were a lot of people that were struggling with the newer targets, and the fact that Kix has paid attention to that and reacted so quickly is a good thing, as opposed to waiting for a long time. So props for that. But
it's starting to happen now. That community feedback, and then you can say what you like. Community feedback is definitely working. It's been working really well. I honestly think it's been working well. They're not going to respond to everything, but it's been working well in the last few months. It really, really has. So it's that's a quick response to something that was only raised literally 3 weeks ago. So and that's them stopping, pausing, adjusting, evaluating, and then putting it into the game ready. When actually the most important thing they were going to make sure the bloody fleets were decent for the targets in the current raid, which has taken an awful lot of man hours. So concurrency, I like it. So
and I think
cool.
That's what I was just going to say, and I think that is something that a lot of it is a direct result of all of the pages and all of the information that gets put out there, not just by us, but by people responding to posts on the forums, our page and other pages, because Lord knows we've been harping the same message for months. You need to get your fleet for the FM. You need to get your fleet for the FM. And other than the difficulty on the 88 targets, which we all said was a little bit over the top, a lot of people were ready for it. And so it was good to see that, as opposed to the usual where months people saying I can't do anything. So I think props to everybody out there that shares information, and for those ally leaders that have been beating on their players to make sure that's been taken care of.
Yeah, it's an absolute example of, don't just say this is shit. Say this is shit because of X, Y, Z, and I think this could make it better. And if you do that, it doesn't stay on the page. I don't mind negative vibes at all. I just don't like this is crap, kicks your crap. This is that just gets deleted. We're not here for that. That's not what we do. That doesn't help us. It doesn't help the community. It doesn't help anything. If you just think it's shit, sign off and leave. I'm really not interested. If you think you can make a difference and make it better, then I'll take that forward, and so will the rest of the admin team. So good, excellent. Right, so there you go. That's what we've got basically. So let's have a quick look forward. What do we got? So here we go. This is the only thing that's in price pack 4. Okay, so and it's a good ad. So it's for the generalist hull. Okay, and we all know why it's a good special and that sort of stuff. And it's going to up that penetrative defense, and it's going to up that corrosive defense. So not only are you going to get the flagship effects, this now can obviously go on the other hulls as well.
Oh, a combo.
Yeah,
I like that.
So that's going to make your Zealouses pretty nails, I think.
That that's going to be great for those that don't have the charged armor but are running tanks.
Yeah, I mean, so that's already then. The Zealous has got a plus 30% penetrative and corrosive defense anyway, and then you've got a plus 45, then you've got a flagship effect. Now, I know it's multiplicative and that sort of stuff, and I ain't doing the maths because Brian ain't here. But that's going to make a huge difference. That is going to make a huge difference. Yep. So I think that's going to be pretty decent, to be honest, when that special comes in. So that's the only thing. So first round, at least if you're going to get prize pack 4, first round reset, and then the next time you're going to get a 2-day build token. So how cool is that? Straight off the raid, you can get some build tokens instantly. So, they did say that they're going to tease us into the first one, have a little go of it. The second one, obviously the first one, they're going to release the flagship, and then they're going to release something in the FM. So here's the something. So, decent. I'm quite impressed with that. And as Ren said, build your Zealouses. He told you that to do that 4 weeks ago. Build 5 blanks if you have to. Get them ranked up because there will be stuff coming out. So. Good. Anyway, so moving on then. Here's an interesting little beast. What is this? This thing makes me smile. I'm not quite sure what to make of this thing. Stu, what are your thoughts? You're a PvP man.
I hadn't actually seen it until you just put it on the screen now.
Right, but just run your eyes over the stats, because this looks like the most bizarre mortar. So it's a cousin of the torpid mortar, okay? A smaller salvo, but faster reload speeds. Damage is
mix and match mortar again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fill up a fleet for them, but I'd mix and match probably.
Well, maybe to annoy countermeasures, wasn't it? Because if you get a faster reload, then you can overcome some of those flipping countermeasures, can't you? So
I don't think anything will ever replace my judgment mortars. I like my judgment too much.
No, I agree. I have to say, but the output damage is good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still put 1 or 2 in. So, yeah.
I mean, reload times 5 without doing anything at all. Salvo 2, so it's got a low salvo count, so it's 3,300 damage straight away, isn't it? So,
yeah,
pretty good.
Still a wee bit chubby, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's to be expected.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
They're almost heavy, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, so there we go. Isn't the mortar? I just think, why the hell do they call it a hedgehog? I just can't work out why. And where do we start getting animals in the game? I just find it amusing. Maybe it's just me. Right, okay. And then obviously this thing here then. So here we go, Conqueror Defenders. What do we got here? This mortar modification provides a bonus projectile speed. Oh, that's a nice one. Splash, explosive damage at the cost of slightly slowing reload speed. So there's a catch-22, isn't it?
Well, you could afford to lose 25% reload, I believe. I reckon you could afford to lose that with the extra 60% explosive damage.
But if this thing's got a slightly faster reload of 5,
exactly, yeah.
So that's gained 2 seconds over some of them, isn't it? Then actually, that's going to be a pretty decent addition. So splash 25 on that. Then what's the splash on this thing here? So it's quite a low splash. It's only 10. I prefer that to be higher. It's obviously why it's high. It's not so high because splash 50% on top of that. So that's going to make it splash
50.
So 50%, yeah, but splash on here is only 10.
Oh no, it's spread. Sorry, I got spread and splash the wrong way around. Wow.
So splash 10, yeah, that's quite low, isn't it? We're up to sort of 20s, aren't we now? So it's
it's also combining a lot of things that if you go back to the new one again, does this
stack?
Okay, so we're already getting additional speed. We're losing a bit of reload, but we're getting speed, we're getting extra splash, we're getting more explosive damage. So that may.
Well, I want to know what it stacks with.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What can we put?
That's the only. So what, isn't it?
Before I can decide whether I want to use it or not, is it going to stack with what I want to stack it with?
We've got quite a few of those, haven't we? Where things don't stack very well. So yeah.
But it does maybe make room for other things.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I still think HVR takes the beating. It's hard to beat the HVR, I must admit. In general, especially like you said with judgment mortars, you stick HVR, and especially if you are going with a Citadel flag and some Citadels, my God, that's like Black Rain. It takes a long time to even if they're slow getting there, once they get there, they make a right old mess. I mean, I do like the 85Ds, but I still think judgments are pretty amusing. Anyway, okay, and then there's this thing, another thing for the Generalist. So it's a heavy slot weapon, and it's rather random. Ree, what do you make of this thing? The heavy lance missile.
Well, I'm not going to lie, the design of it looks awesome. And it says it's built for a generalist again. If you look at the defensive stats it gives, wow.
Yeah,
combined with the armor, that's one tough generalist hull.
But this is it's weird. I mean, you're putting now on a mortar hull.
Well, it's a heavy weapon slot, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but it makes it into a right random
just
ship.
Throw it on there just for the defensive.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that because the
I mean, look, you've got 100% bonus combat, 300% turn speed, plus penetrating defense, corrosive defense, structure deflection, ship deflection. So even if you didn't want to switch to missiles and you still wanted to run a mortar hull of some kind, I'd just throw it on for the defense.
It's range, yeah, and range is 76, so it's not.
Obviously, if you're going to use this, then you would use a missile hull because you'd be using it for the assault targets because of the defense and for the bonus defensive.
That's a few. Okay, so I'll quickly say hi, Brian. Good evening, buddy.
How are you?
That missile though?
Yeah,
right.
Is this going to be like the death scythe where it fires at a spot, or is it actually going to like head somewhere where it should be?
Now, does this give 300% penetrating damage to the entire hull? Or was it just
I'm going to log on and mock up a ship build and find out. I think
because if it gives 300% to the entire hull, then it wouldn't really matter if you were putting it on Imperium, would it? Because the hull would then become missile based without the reload.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, so this is locked to the generalist hull, thank God. Okay, so that's 1 point. So
this is obviously going to go on the Xenos with the Xenos flag hull. I think that's what they're intending. So.
Well, it says a heavy Imperium, doesn't it? So
really,
does the Zealous Com Prime affect just Zealous or all generalists?
Zealous only.
Okay.
Zealous only, and it needs to as well because if it affected this.
The Zealous doesn't have a heavy weapon slot, does it?
No. So this is for the Imperium only. So that's what I'm saying. So you have to put a range extender onto this because there's not too many special slots, obviously, on the Imperium as well. You're down one because it's 5. It's an unusual thing, isn't it? I have to say.
I mean, in theory, it's pretty cool, but that's really a strange release.
But 100% bonus combat speed and 300 on turn speed. These things, even if you've got the slots, these things are never going to get touched again in the FN. They're going to be so freaking quick. Your tank is not going to keep up with the goddamn things. Or you take your combat speed off and put this on. I don't know what you do.
I don't know. That's confused me. It's really confused me.
Some ninjas. We need Ren on there for this one because he loves his his generalist stuff and that stuff. He's gonna have some fun with this. I can see him come out with some really good. I don't know
much about the generalist hulls. So, the only one I've ever built was the Xenos, and that was just for a tank.
Yeah, I see Ren playing with this because I think the fact that you've got a bonus combat speed of 100% and obviously turn speed of 300, you could knock your engine off your ship, which means you've just gained a special slot.
True.
But I don't know. Anyway, there you go. They knock out these generalist things, and they really do.
We need to move on because it's confusing me and hurting my brain.
you could just run the MX Prime with this, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you pen defense as well. Admittedly, not very much. It gives you stun resist, and there's other ores I know on the normal Imperium.
But look at the deflection from structure and ship again. 800 on top of what you're already getting.
Yeah. It's a beast.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's a huge amount, isn't it?
Yeah, but to be fair, it does weigh
it has to be. It's a heavy weapon.
But it is heavy. Okay, it is heavy. So it's 1,000 nearly, or 990.
Yeah. So you're going to have to try real hard to build around. What's the max weight on the Imperium, Brian? You're probably looking at
8,000.
8, yeah.
8,000, exactly. So you're going to have to try really hard to build around. That's going to be quite difficult, considering if you're going to be putting specials on as well to try and boost the missile damage as well. That's going to be heavy.
Have you got an in-game build time there, Brian? Have you seen it?
What's the bonus weight to strike warheads?
2 days, 3 bonus weight to strike warheads. I think like 12%. 2 days, 3 hours, but that's just with officer and R&D 30. So it's probably about 2 days 10, 2 days 12 with no bonuses.
I mean, it's a one-off, isn't it? So yeah, interesting. Interesting. I like it. God knows if I'm ever going to use it.
13% weapon weight on strike warheads versus 12% on carbon fiber case.
And then you're looking at things like frontline countermeasure or siege battery, which also adds weight. And yeah, you're gonna. That's gonna be very hard to build.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try right now.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Then when you come up with something, we'll come back to you. Okay. Right. So just to quickly rip through. Okay, the initial release date information was incorrect. Okay, it's been edited since and that sort of stuff. But I just basically did a guesstimate and we ended up guessing right. So there you go. It's obviously this coming weekend, as ever. Following the raid weekend is the VXP weekend. So everything you went out and coined or won or that sort of stuff. And if you built it in time, I strongly suggest you go and rank it. Okay, then do the best you can anyway. Bloody blah. VXP, read it. Okay, it's simple as that. You got one you can go and die, and you've got one you can go and kite and kill. Okay, take your pick, whatever's your flavor. If you want to die and coin it, die and coin it. If you're doing that, then don't put any armor on. Okay,
I'm pretty sure you know which one I'm going for already.
Yeah, I can guess what you're going to go for.
Okay. The lazy option.
The lazy go hit them all on 100s and that sort of stuff. Okay, so there's a build in chat actually. Someone's just put up if you want to have a quick look. Brian.
Yeah, sure. I'll open that quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, is that a shipyard thingy?
It's one of the shipyard ones.
Start using that. That's going to be so much.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Brian,
so there we go. No changes. So the 199 is, bear in mind, it's only there for the first 36 hours. So just bear that in mind, okay? And it's important to remember that. Okie dokie. Right, so there you go. Enjoy your VXP weekend, that sort of stuff. Everything else about it is as per the standard. Good, we'll move on. Okay, so there's one TLC, and why is it here? Well, because still some people don't have anything decent to do the FM with. There is no change to this. We'll just quickly scoot over. So Monolith, if you haven't got one, it's I still like the fact that high yield warheads, which I use that special quite a bit. Okay, is in price pack 1, which I think is a Billy bonus. And there obviously is some build tokens there as well. So price pack 1 is actually quite easy to do.
Or even
okay, I just looked at that build. Like, I mean, there's a couple of things I would change about the build, but like just looking at what he's put up on my screen, holy crap!
Okay, we'll
absolutely insane.
We'll come back to it, and we'll like I said, we don't mind going over a little bit tonight, so we'll come back to it and we'll do some screen shares, mate. So save it, or just hold on to it, mate, if you could for a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to save this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say on the call to arms, even if you do have the monos, if you need to do a slight refit, don't overlook those 5 one-day build tokens in price pack 1.
I say the same thing. You know, it's like doing the mega ship thing. If you've done the campaign already, at least go back and do number 1 because you get upgrade tokens in there. Never give away tokens, you know, or give up getting tokens. So if you can virtually almost auto, you know, this level 1, just go and do it anyway. 5 tokens is better than no tokens. Free's free at the end of the day. You know.
Yep.
So yeah, why not? And almost number 2, I absolutely recommend getting the D85D. I think it's a cracking mortar. Yes, it's a bit heavy and that sort of stuff, but actually it doesn't have pack a punch. I think it's fab. One thing I will say be cautious of though in price pack 2, don't start thinking about putting on that special in the middle there, the percussion napalm detonator, because it only works with morts. So don't think you're going to get the field and fire effect and that sort of stuff on who was trying to use it the other day on icebreakers. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, so it doesn't work on rockets, but it only works on mortars. So bear that in mind. And they're going to change the detail of that. I know they were going to look at that, change the wording so that it actually said mortars, because it didn't when it first came out. And then there you go, another 10 days. So there you go. There's 15. So that's enough to build a ship, actually, isn't it? So. If you can get those 2, great, fantastic. Like I said, the first one, sorry, is 6 hours, and the second one, obviously, you get 3 hours to do it. Third one, then, here we go. This is where it starts getting a bit meh. Okay, it's great. You get some build tokens again, that sort of stuff, but it gets a little bit interesting to do. And obviously, but what is nice is obviously you get some VXP tokens. So share those across the 4 ships. If you're going to build 4 ships, then obviously, you know, it's an unusual amount, 6,500. I'm never quite sure why that is that.
Help.
There must be a reason. 6,500 seems an odd number to give you in VXP times 8, but anyway, it's there. But that gets some rank at least across all 4 ships, or rank up a couple. But I would keep them all equal rank if I was you. And then it goes on to obviously the one that people do struggle to get, and then it's questionable even if it's worth doing. Okay, because I still think a Zealous is a better tank, but that's down to the individual. But if you're choosing to go ahead and do it and that sort of stuff, then clearly you can go ahead and grab the gridirons, monolith, and that sort of stuff, and then spend forever building it, and then realizing that your zealots are still better. So
you'll get the bare hull of a good backup tank.
Yeah, I mean, I put mine in my back line, you know, that sort of stuff. So I've got 3 normal monoliths and then this thing as a counter in the back line, and with its boost because the aura is in the right place, and then I use a zealous flex. So.
That worked really well from what we were watching the other week when you were running that through. That I might actually partake in that.
Yeah, it does work well. The zealous is nicely looked after and that sort of stuff. And I've got quite a lot of obviously you know, counters of all different descriptions on there. And this thing sitting in the back line, nothing sneaks up and takes out the mort chuckers. And the impact of having the aura in the right place all the time and never being out of the field makes a huge difference. But using it as a prep ship up the front, you know, instead of the zealous, cack.
Down to 2.
Well, that's my view anyway. But I don't like it. Right, okay. Bug fixes and tuning. Stu, do you want to do these? I'm sure you
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Corrosive charged armor now displays its defensive stats within the shipyard and the dock. Research garrison no longer displays as a co-op target.
Good, because that was wrong.
And fixed cloaking logic for holes with the cloak efficiency stat. I'm presuming that makes mud gloves.
Well, some people says it's fixed.
It was discussed. Yeah, it was discussed earlier about. Oh god. If you had a cloak over 75, it becomes 75% in player base hits. But if you had cloak over 100%, through means of S armors, etc., that it would behave
differently
greatly
to how
in
it
your
should
favor as the attacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as intended.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I did hear something on that. I can't remember who from or who I spoke to, but one of them told me that it was something to do with the numbers on the system or something like that, but it basically broke it somehow, and so they weren't sure how. That's what I heard.
So while you're quickly then flicking through a couple of bits and bobs on builds and that stuff, and I'll share your 2 screens if you wouldn't mind in a moment, what I'm going to quickly have a look at is a couple of things that we've got sitting in the background. I did say we go through the state of the game and that sort of stuff, which we will do. So first, a bit of PR from us, but I can't seem to find the page because I seem to have lost it. Okay, it must be this one here somewhere. I've got 2 pages. Yeah, here we go. So this one, first of all, just in our last little edition, it's exactly the same as what we did last month. So Andrew, on our page, okay, then, and those that are on our forum, you must know how to get the page by now. So forsakencouncil.co.uk, then Andrew's put out the Glowing Seas feedback form. Okay, it's very, very simple. It's only got a few questions. I know the type's a little bit small here. You probably can't see it very well. I've blown it up fairly high, but basically, so now it's over. It's time to reveal how the raid was for you. In game, you can actually enter some detail in here. Okay, then, because this is what we were looking for last time. We had some pretty good responses, so this will be up and running for a few days. I think he's put the timeline to the 24th, so it's not too bad. Did you play until the end of the raid? That sort of stuff. If yes, no. Okay, what holes did you use? That sort of stuff. How many of the same holes were available to you? And basically, what ships did you use and what was their average rank and that sort of stuff. So it's all that prep detail is what we're looking for this time. Okay, so we did the 1 to 10, the quick. You know, did you like it? Did you hate it? You know, but this is giving that bit more detail. So we can analyze this over a bit longer time and that sort of stuff, and we can feed the data up. You know. So it's not for this raid cycle. It won't have any impact at all. But if it helps them think about putting ships out in time and the right type of targets, and you know, in the first raid, the next format, then it's done its job. So that's our plan. So fill in the detail, that sort of stuff, and just send it, and all those will get collated by Andrew and that sort of stuff. So if you haven't got the link, could someone just pop the link in the
I'm getting it.
chat if you wouldn't mind? See what you think and that sort of stuff. Like I say, it's on our website. If you look on our Facebook page, obviously over on the right hand side there, it's got the link to our page and that sort of stuff. So we will just quickly drop. Robin's going to quickly grab the page and drop it into the chat there for you.
There it is.
Okay, and obviously I'll post that when I put up I'll put it in the comments below. Obviously when I put this out onto YouTube, so everyone can see it in future.
Yeah, it's actually there's a link to it. Bang smack in the middle of the page. When you go to the home page, it's right there.
Coolio. Right, and quickly then, what I think we'll do is just whilst I'm on here, then we can just drop this this screen down so we can actually see some people and we can look at those amusing builds. So yeah, Rue's fast. I know she's all over it. was going to say like a tramp on chips, but there we go.
Just to jump in here real quick, initial maths of the Empyrean with the new missile, about 84% stronger in terms of DPS versus ships than Phoenixes with a given flag, like a Savage Kodiak. And I don't think I accounted for a specific flagship for the Empyreans, just 5 solid Empyreans for the damage buffs, etc. 84% stronger.
It's definitely an option, put it that way.
How good is that Generalist dampening building, you guys?
Yeah, nuts. Yeah.
It's going to have to be.
Keep those builds there. We'll come back to it. So I'm just going to quickly look through the Midsummer. So this is the Midsummer state of the game, okay? Do we get, a twice monthly update? No, we don't, that stuff. But we do get this sort of quarterly sort of like state of the game sort of thing. In fact, when was the last time we got one? Was it Easter? I think it was.
No, I think it was like May.
Was it May? Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily what sort's coming, but it sort of gives you some hints of sort of things that are on the periphery of going about. So first thing it says there, obviously, as you can see, is the information that, yeah, we've got a new CM coming. Okay, Major Rampage. He's come from, obviously, the wargaming platform and that sort of stuff. Okay, he's done things like World of Tanks and that sort of stuff, World of Airplanes and those sort of things. So World of Planes, sorry. So he's got a pedigree, a hell of a pedigree, in fact, and that sort of stuff. I've had a good couple of chats with him already myself personally. Like his attitude, like his delivery method, that sort of stuff. If you've been on the forums, it's all light-hearted at the moment. Of course it's going to be. He's introducing himself to community. So be pleasant black and that sort of stuff. And don't just point saying, as somebody did, welcome to TFC, welcome to BP, you're here to close it. Stupid things like that. That's just pointless. So embrace what he's here for, that sort of stuff. And he comes with a good pedigree, like I said. So, there's various things he's done, World of Tanks, that sort of stuff, which is the one I previously played, that stuff. World of Warships is there as well. So there's some good stuff. And he is a player, by the way. It's not just, a community manager, that stuff. He plays. So,
may God have mercy on his soul.
He's running 2 bases at the moment, already in the game and that sort of stuff. One coined and so he understands the top end stuff and understands how the different bits of tech work and that sort of stuff. And when he's working, hard. Let's just say that way. So, it's good.
Able to see both sides of the story, not just the one side.
Yeah, exactly. The other good thing as well is, which I think it's a double whammy for us as well, is we've got Raken back. Yay, at last. Okay, so
Yay.
Raken has had to go away and do some bits and bobs. And in the background that you didn't know, like I said, Raken created the Skyfire. He made sure that actually they built the target and the ship together this time, which is why it bloody works. So they factor these 2 things together. Not like go and build some targets, or I'm going to build a ship and then hope it works. It actually does work. So great news. So he's back and that sort of stuff, So we've now got GDA and GDR, which is great news and that sort of stuff. So looking forward to some things that are coming out in the future, with a good production team as far as I'm concerned. So that's good news as well. So moving on then. So as it states there, then Q2 basically we shipped out water hulls, icebreakers, obviously skill fleets, monoliths. Yeah, monoliths. Okay. But, the Skyfire was the first probably decent auto. They've acknowledged the fact on that sort of stuff, So, yeah, kudos to them. At least they've acknowledged the fact that they've made some boobs. Okay. If they didn't understand they made some boobs, then they clearly don't listen to anybody. All right, then. But they have acknowledged it. Okay. Now, there's some good lines in here and that sort of stuff. I'm not going to read out all this, but because it's on the page and that's so on the forum, so you have to go and get it. And we've actually linked this to our page as well. One thing I love here, so they're going to make some additions, obviously, to the super hulls. So some more ones coming out, like the Ghost Crawler, Hellstar, Proton Nemesis, and that sort of stuff. And they're going to give some love, I think, to some of the older ones as well. So the first Legion hull called the what the hell is that? Cadies, isn't it? A monster ship with cloud shielding drones. I like that.
Ooh.
Oh. No, yes. Shielding drones, not shrouding drones. Okay, it's not going to be like shielding. One Hellstar.
No, but shielding drones. That's interesting. I quite like that. So, and a second draconian secret weapon as well we revealed in time, that sort of stuff. So there's some interesting things coming up, So Some love it, some hate it, that sort of stuff. You know, a lot of people hated Hellstars and that sort of stuff. But you know, for that top 1%, if you love that sort of stuff, it's the little carrot at the end of the stick sort of stuff. You know, and if it keeps them enthused in the game, and let them crack on with it. You know, 99.9% of people didn't get a Hellstar. You know, but of the 0.1% that did, they had fun with it while it lasted.
I mean, maybe if they took the repair modifier down from 400%. I think that would help entice people.
So yeah, the next thing I got as well, mate, was the acknowledgement of you know, while some people say it's, you know, fighting bad guys and plundering their, you know, blah 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 and that sort of stuff, some people just call it chores. Okay, and so they acknowledge the fact there are some chores. So they're looking at maybe, do you know what? Maybe you can blitz bits and bobs. And Jeff, please don't mention Man of War in chat there. I've just noticed what you just typed. Okay.
I was going to.
I was about to. Then I got cut off.
Shut up. Okay. So resources blitz, okay, and that sort of stuff is coming and those sort of stuff. And that should help for titanium and FM targets and all those sort of stuff as well. So it should assist us with the chores. The chores need to be done, but let's try and do them in a different way and that sort of stuff. So they're looking at that.
But blitz is already in the FM.
Yeah, it's in the FM, but obviously I was expanding it onto other things, like, you know, obviously going getting other resources basically. So anything's better than nothing. Chores have to be done. I get that. You got to go get resources somehow, but limiting the time it takes to go and get them is the key as far as I'm concerned. Right. Now, after separating PvE and PvP, then clearly there's going to be a little bit more development on the PvP side of it to get people doing it. Now, they're talking about this bounty thing, and before comms goes mental, it's not a must-do, but if you want to be taking part of this new system called Bounty, it will give you some additional PvP prizes. Okay, now hopefully it won't be exactly at the arena and that sort of stuff, but ultimately if you're into your PvP, it's a PvP specific area that you may or may not want to go in and have a look at. You make it your own minds, okay, and I think the way this is going to come out will depend on the success of the ability for everyone to take part or no one to take part and it have no impact on your game. And that's raiding and doing FM as far as I'm concerned. So if it's a bit like, one thing I do like, I think Mega Holes has worked very well in the game. I don't particularly like Mega Holes, I've got one, that sort of stuff, but you can take it or leave it. So I'm hoping this is the same sort of thing. If you're really not into PvP, this is a take it or leave it. So,
and the other flip side of this too is it stops the little fish getting pounded as well. So if the little guys don't want to participate, they don't have to, and that will help them.
Yeah, I just really, yeah, exactly. Leave them alone, that sort of stuff. They're not going to take part because you won't get nothing out of them, because this is just like going and stealing someone's medals. Basically, if they're not in this competition, you can't go and steal it. So there's no point in hitting them in this particular bit. So, but there's been more detail about it later on, that sort of stuff. It's in its sort of like infancy stage at the moment. So, but it's interesting, you know. It'll add another dynamic to an area of the game that, like Stu, for example, wants more PvP stuff, you know, because that's what draws him to the game rather than all the chory stuff.
No,
so.
I just want new PvP stuff, if that makes sense. I'm bored of the old style of PvP. Medals, to me, it ruined the game.
Yeah, I agree, mate. But this chance of getting a new PvP hull over somebody else.
Yeah, I want a system that works and can't be gamed. Like, I want a system that's fair and is fun to engage in. And
fair,
fun to
just,
be
can't be hacked. Yeah.
When it's fun to be competitive, I will be competitive. But while it's not, I won't. That's the way I'm looking at the game.
Yeah, that's a key point where you mentioned, Stu, about the gaming, because that's one thing that comes up a lot.
Yeah, we're a lot of smart people, and we will find things that you never even thought of.
I mean, I won't mention names, but for instance, there was a TLC probably about a year ago now, but you could, for some reason, earn medals from this TLC, and people just abused it over and over again.
Crazy, didn't they? Certain Alliance went all over it, and
then there was a whole glitch with the. I mean, glitches happen. I get it. All right, there was a whole glitch with you could tap your teammates or whatever if you dropped your tag, and you could take their medals, but they wouldn't lose medals. Something like that. Like that went crazy, you know, and that just completely ruined it. I mean, it was ruined before that anyway, but it completely ruined it. You know, it flooded the system with more medals that was intended to be in the system. So it was just like, okay, never mind. Which made them worthless. Go on.
Can I jump back something a little further up in that post?
Yeah,
They're talking about expeditions.
Yes.
Very bottom of the chore reduction thing, where you send your fleet out, and after a while, it returns with damage and loot. So what I think this means is it's going to be a less efficient version of autoing the targets. Like you go out and your fleet takes an hour damage and you get 50,000 base parts or whatever. I think that's going to be great because a lot of the targets there are, I do it perfectly for free, but it takes a lot of focus, and you don't always want to focus on the target as intently as the current driving styles are wanting you to focus. But if you take damage in those targets and screw up, it's a very costly error. Whereas these, I think, will be like a middle ground where if I assume I will make 1 to 2 mistakes every time I drive, it's going to be better for me to just take the hits. Or if I need to go to work or something, I can rack up a few hits on my fleet and repair it, and I'll have a couple 100,000 base parts, and then I'll go out and come back and it'll be fully restored. I think that's very good. I can't wait to see what forms it takes, and hopefully they tune it properly.
Yeah, and you could even, if I'm reading this right, you could send your fleet off to Timbuktu while you're in the middle of doing the weekly.
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think finally a use for your extra fleets. Oh, and boy, we got some extra fleets.
Yeah.
So like the icebreakers, they keep coming at us.
Yeah, go and build some more. You could build 3 sets by now, I think, for nothing, can't you? Virtually.
Probably.
You probably could. I don't know. Anyway, right. So look, it's there. I'm not going to go through any more of it. There's a plethora of stuff in there, but at least we are getting some detail now. These seem to be coming out a little bit more often. Okay, is my point. So we've got our assault rates, event cycles. It's telling you about the flagship and about Skyfire. So there's bits and bobs there. Okay, it's not breaking news, that sort of stuff. It's just like a summary of some things and a couple of sort of like look ahead, look forwards and that sort of stuff. So anyway, it's there. Take a look at it, see what you think. Right, more interesting then. Stu, have you got a build?
Oh, I was typing. Well, I got that build that guy gave.
Yeah, go on then. Just share that one then, and I want to see what Brian's got as well. It's not comparative, but it's just out of interest, So
yeah, I have to load the game up again because my hands are off the wheel, Captain.
Okay, have you got yours, Brian?
I had actually logged off the game. But
we're doing well then, aren't we? Nothing like off the cuff.
Give me a second. Time it back.
We are the most prepared of shows.
I know Stu's definitely saved his. So
yeah, I did.
It's Siege.
I just got to figure out which slot I saved it in. Okay, I got it.
Siege Battery 3, the new armor special, the pneumatic launch actuator, SS5, and I think I put HVR as my final special for reasons unknown, because I have stun resist, so I don't want to put Agi 4, and I can't really put any other, because usually you'll have like missile range boost and a missile damage boost on your Phoenixes, but this has 1 fewer special, but the pneumatic launch actuator does both. It gives you the range and the damage and the reload, so you're fine. And you don't need Agi 4.
So look at the damage on.
Holy cow!
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
Look at the pen reload. Well, that's reasonable. Okay, and then
it's
obviously
198,000 damage, and just went, what the fuck?
198,000 damage, and look at the bonus damage effects. 36% damage.
Yeah.
I never put Ragnox on mine. I've got 2. I could just put this on 2 of my Empyreans and go out and rule the world.
Yeah, and res cap.
Cool.
Yeah, that's another good option.
Yeah.
It's 36% and 8% per. Okay, hang on.
I could scroll down a bit as well if you look at the.
No, it's fine. I'm just going to be doing
defense. So stun resistance is well above there, isn't it? So corrosive is 88. Is that right?
Yeah, 88% corrosive and 83% penetrate.
The thing I like there is obviously that's without any of the charges. So it proves the fact you can get a build out of that without even having charge armor.
I mean, if you really wanted with that amount of damage, you could probably drop, maybe 2 missiles for a phalanx or something like that.
Yeah. So if I did the math right on the res cap and its abilities, with 5 Empyreans, no flagship, you're getting over double the damage of a Talon Phoenix with like a Savage Kodiak or a Guts Pulse Phoenix in the lead. Versus ships.
Look at the combat speed and the turn speed.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. I mean,
res
you
cap,
could take
even
off
faster.
the engine if you wanted. So if I took off the engine quick.
Just take off the engine altogether. And what's the combat and thingy? Just say.
52 combat speed. So you could leave that like that.
And that's without rank. That's with no rank on whatsoever.
I don't
If
really
you take
know
off
what
the
to
res
put on
cap,
there
does it
after
count
that.
the res cap in that speed?
No, it doesn't count the res cap.
No, you got res cap on
No.
double.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else you want to use here. Because...
HVR.
Yeah,
HVR and
HVR. That's
everything.
what I was
Alright,
thinking.
so, but
Can
use
you-
HVR and it fits as well. So now you've got 100% projectile speed and it still runs at 54 combat speed
But
as well. So
HVR give you building damage, doesn't it, and stuff?
yeah, building the wall as well. Yeah,
So, so you got more building and wall damage now on top of that.
basically,
so
we call this whole GG easy win.
Ren's going to love this when he comes back.
For the weekly, yeah.
What's the defenses on it? I can't write. We'll see.
You've got
83 and
83%. Yeah, 83% penetrating, 88 concussive.
Oh, you use a switchblade. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's not even counting the res caps bonus to
25%.
defenses.
Yeah. Is it 25% or something like 33 or something like that?
Oh,
Is
sorry,
it?
no, it doesn't have all defenses. Sorry, that's the other one, the res battery. Oh, you could use the res battery. Ew.
You
Ooh, let me
could.
switch. Let me switch a couple of things out on mine and see what I can come up with. Yeah, but that build is spicy.
Okay,
I mean, if
right.
you were to lose agility system, where's the
You can
sun?
afford to lose agility system.
Where the hell did the sun just go? Oh, it's down there. Sorry. Yeah, you still have 50%, and then you could probably
Add something else on it.
on there. Yeah.
What about,
If you wanted, I'm saying you don't have to.
there are other things there with extra potentials, isn't there? As
I
well?
mean,
Wait a minute.
because I've just taken off that other one, I can now put an agility 4 on there, which pumps up.
Can you
the
hover
stun
pneumatic
to
launch
24%.
actuator gives missile range, right?
Yeah, there's no range.
Yeah,
yes, it does. Yeah.
30%.
thought-
Penetrating reload 110 and damage
It looked
as well.
for a moment like you could put on something else that I thought gave missile range as well. Let me
No,
pull my build
no.
up. And see if I can-
It'll probably be
You
a
shouldn't be
counter, won't
able to. I could be remembering incorrectly, but carry on. I'll fiddle
it?
with
Okay, good. Look, at the end of the day, there's a really interesting thing out there now that can do a lot of damage. So it's it's now opened up yet again. It's a shame Ren's not here. He'd be flipping about this. I can imagine a Ren video coming out very, very soon.
Yep.
How to build your Empyreans to destroy everything Kixeye have built.
Yeah. Right.
wrong
Okay.
special one.
I think we're gonna pop clogs there and say thank you very much everybody for joining in tonight. It has gone a little bit over the hour, but I think it was worthwhile tonight. So enjoy things to come. Okay, then enjoy obviously the ranking weekend, the XP weekend, that sort of stuff. If you haven't got a need to go and do the TLC, you could always just get a few tokens, that sort of stuff, and stack them up. If you don't want to do it at all, do you know what? It's a pretty chilled week, isn't it? Okay, so enjoy the time and just sitting there thinking, well, I might not bother doing anything tonight. So, it's nice to just sit back and maybe go and do a bit of PvP. You never know. Go and find Stu's base and smash it a bit. He likes that sort of stuff.
Oh no, that hurts.
Yeah,
'cause he
cheers,
comes
mate.
back.
Of course he comes back, but it gives you something to do, doesn't it? So and if you're
but then
really
he brings
bored, hit my
friends.
base 'cause I don't care.
Then he brings friends.
I bring all the bears.
Yeah, but it's funny. Right. Thanks to all the admins as ever. Okay, then. And thanks, by the way, to the community, because we've just seen, I had a little quick straw poll on the forums and that sort of stuff. And in general, if you notice, then we're nearly at 13,000 members in less than 18 months. So that's pretty impressive. So, those people are bringing all their admin members in, that sort of stuff. We're here for you. So, we give up our time for you guys and try to do the best we can with what we've got. Whether that just be a bit of experience, that sort of stuff, or just listening to what you have to say and trying to pass it up and make sense of it
I'm
all.
not here for you guys. I'm here because Kixeye pays me to be here. That is a joke. That is a joke.
Don't do
I know someone's going to post it at the page like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Stu said.
We're
I
not
just
gonna
sit in the
talk-
back and do math.
Yeah. The one thing
No,
I haven't
I'm here
talked
for the
about
free
tonight.
cookies. Like I was promised free cookies by Liam, but I never received them. So
Yeah, I was just going to say just quickly. One thing I haven't talked about tonight is dry dock. Okay, because it's still too early. There are talks of we said about splitting up PvP and PvE several times over and that sort of stuff. Look, and I know the guys on obviously Jeff's page got some chats with GDA and that sort of stuff, but the mechanics of it haven't been discussed yet. So until we've got something firm of how it's going to work out and that sort of stuff, we'll have a chat to the guys and then we'll come back with some firm detail. But as it stands at the moment, it's a little bit early to say exactly what's going to go on because there's not been really that much released. But the fact that ultimately after it's taken 6 years to get something into the game that we wanted, within probably the first 12 months the game existed. But let's see how it rolls out. So I'm not going to raise the hey, it was amazing sort of it's all here now and we can now do two things at once because we haven't seen it. So let's just see what's coming. But there are there's light at the end of the tunnel. So that's something to look forward to.
And if it doesn't come out, we'll just blame George.
Yeah, we'll blame George because he's not here.
Absolutely.
Right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you hopefully on the open mic this coming weekend, which is going to be led by Brian.
Hello.
Oh, my God. Ready?
Okay. I don't know why they let me do this. No one man should have all that power.
Take care. Good night.
Night all.
Good night,
Bye, everyone.